There we go. Straight for another DataMiner kata. Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder. We have another nice kata, a nice DataMiner exercise to get some hands-on experience ready for you. And I was going to say a new guest, but we've seen this one before, so welcome back. But in case someone is watching this episode for the very first time, who are you and what do you do at Skyline?
Hi Jan, I am Pieter van Kompernolle.
Hello.
Working for Skyline for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Currently I'm a product owner of DataCore.
Yes.
So
yes.
One of the biggest domains in the DataMiner product.
A linchpin domain within DataMiner, really taking care of a lot of core concepts of our software package. So very nice to have you here and taking the time out of your probably very busy schedule.
Yeah, it's quite busy.
Yeah, can imagine to give us this explanation.
But I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So you've got something fun prepared for us. Yeah. Like last time, it was very interesting. So I'm excited for this one. So what you got for us?
It's a bit similar, but then again, it's totally different. So let's start with the similarity. It's also an exercise that was given at Empower. Back in June. By the way, Empower is going a bit around, if I'm not mistaken. So
there's been a few Empowers and a few things going around. Yeah. So very popular.
There might be some opportunities to link to this session. But anyhow, in that Empower session, there was a nice exercise, a use case linked to patterns, trend patterns.
Yes.
So I think we had a session with Willem already.
Willem indeed showed us something about patterns. Yeah. I was going to say he warned us. He warned us there would be a fall, that you would be here. Pieter will arrive. Yes. No, he didn't warn us per se. But I did think he said there would be a very fun and exciting follow-up on that. Yeah. So this is it, I guess.
This is it. So Willem explained the concepts of patterns, multivariate patterns as an extension. I think he focused a bit his session within Cube. So he showed the patterns in Cube.
Yeah, the visual side of those patterns, the ability to select them and then
creating the pattern.
Do some advanced settings with them as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm using a use case to make an exercise again in dashboards. You could do the same in a low-code app. I'm using dashboards just for simplicity here.
All right.
What is the use case? Maybe we can
let's
immediately jump in.
So people can follow along.
Yeah. Okay, indeed.
You probably need a DataMiner again. So I'm guessing if you spin up a DAS, you should be good to go.
The same requirements as for the patterns from Willem.
Okay.
So you'll see at some point I'll reuse some of his data.
Okay.
But basically the exercise is available in a catalog package, of course, and you can find it over here. We'll also link it.
Right. So you can deploy that one kata trend patterns dashboards SCA, and that's kind of the prerequisite to just get started and.
Exactly. That's actually also the solution.
The end result.
The end result. Again, same as with the anomalies session we did. It's a bit the same strategy here. Also, there is a tutorial. If you want to do the full exercise from an empty page, you can just follow the tutorial.
Yeah, the written form.
The written form.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's jump in. Let's see what you've got for us. What's the amazing additions to patterns?
So the use case is about backups.
Okay.
We create a pattern. We try to detect a backup of a server. We create a trend pattern.
CPU, right? There was a spike, I think.
Yeah, with the spike of CPU, indeed. It's a bit of a simulated environment. You'll see.
Yes. Okay.
But it illustrates the concept. Right. So what I have here from within the package, of course, this is an element, and this is a table here listing different servers with their CPU load. Let's open one of those loads. I will see, you see the pattern.
Yeah.
You see it's artificial.
This is quite an obvious pattern.
An obvious pattern. Nevertheless, it will illustrate the concept.
Yes.
So we have all our servers here. If we create that pattern, it's just not to detect that pattern on its own. It's easily visible, or it's quite obvious.
But even though it's obvious, you do give it like a label, so people who look at that, who might not know about it, wouldn't understand this is normal because it's a backup.
That's indeed
still a valuable thing.
One of the benefits, but let's see, if we look at others, for example, other servers in the list, we also see that. But here, that's an interesting thing here. Jan,
there's one missing.
There's one missing. So back up.
My keen eye, my eagle eye.
You've seen it.
One missing.
So that's a bit concerning, right? If we think we are taking a daily backup and then suddenly there's no CPU spike, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And that's a bit where the use case goes to. It's about missing patterns.
Yeah, so
right? So
you're gonna give us something amazing now that allows us to detect a missing pattern.
Well, that's my first challenge for you, Jan.
Oh no, for me.
How can you find something that is not there?
How can you find something that is not there?
If it's not there, how can you find it?
Well, that's a challenge indeed.
That's a challenge, right?
Yeah, I would say check when you would expect that thing to happen.
Yeah.
And if that thing is not there, throw an alarm.
Yeah, but it's good enough.
He's like, what madness do you speak, fool?
No, it's good. It's good. It's with alarms. At some point, it's
the only correct thing was the word alarm. Okay,
it's good.
Show me exactly. Show me how it works.
I'm using a dashboard here, so I'm kind of a big fan of overviews of status information. So this is an overview of my backups. Here you see like an overview of my search, right? And what I've done here is I've displayed the most recent pattern occurrence.
Yeah.
So if you look at the trend chart, it's the most
to the right.
Most to the right.
Yeah.
And from that pattern, I display the start time, right? Just pick one of the times, the start and end time of the pattern, of course. And then, then I have that list of start times. But you see the green icon there.
Indeed.
That kind of does the interpretation of the timestamp.
Okay.
And it says like, that looks good. That's a timestamp I expect. So basically, I have a daily backup scheduled. So I expect that daytime to be
between the specific
now
window
and 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
So that's basically the strategy here of the dashboard. It shows the most recent pattern occurrence by server.
Okay.
And then on top of that, through an ad hoc, through a custom operator.
A custom operator, okay.
We do some validation. A little bit of code again, not much, you'll see.
All right. No. We can do a lot with a few lines.
Exactly. But I think the use case is nice. It's about showing something that is not there.
Because a lot of time, it's like, the pattern, when everything is right, it's there. But when it's not there, that's often time when you want
How do you start with that?
You want to look at, something's missing.
Yeah.
So you want to start investigating. So actually, I'm going to be paying very close attention because I think I can use that in my own team. Yeah. I think we're going to be working on a more monitoring of our own setups and our own pipelines. And people who watch often know I'm all about CI/CD.
Yes.
So something that should happen but doesn't happen, that's something that we need to jump on. Right? So show me, how do we do it? Useful.
First of all, getting access to the trends data patterns is easy. Again, built-in source.
Yes, built-in source.
Directly at your fingertips. I have a list here on top with all the patterns. So I filter on the selection there for my list. I'm going to skip this custom operator a bit, and I'm going to jump here to the aggregation. That's the essence of that most recent pattern occurrences.
Getting maximum there.
Our source here shows us all the occurrences for that specific pattern. And for all servers.
Right.
So that's quite a big list, and then the backups of yesterday and the day before and all of that. And I don't need all of that.
And I do remember you telling me very clearly last time you were here, filter first.
Filter first.
So decrease the amount of data before you do something with it.
True.
So
Look here, filter.
filter first.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. See, I learn sometimes. Occasionally.
You're doing good, Jan.
I pick something up. Okay, cool.
But most recent, if we translate that to something we can do in a query,
Yeah.
that means actually it's kind of an aggregation. It's the max aggregation. You know, you can add aggregations to your sources.
Yeah.
If we take the max of the daytime, that's
Okay.
the most recent one.
The most
No,
recent one.
that's.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you follow me in my reasoning?
Yeah. It's the highest one.
The highest one in daytime, so that's the most recent.
If you have a list of everything that occurred, you just want the highest number, which is going to be the highest daytime, which is going to be the most recent from now daytime.
If we do that on our source, we only get one record. That's the very most recent one.
Yeah.
We want the most recent one per server.
Yes.
Right? So after aggregating, we do group by. It's here, table index.
Okay.
It's because if we go back to our source.
The table index was the name of the server.
Exactly. The servers here for this example come from the index. And that's also why here a bit higher we have a custom operator to extract the key from the pattern occurrences.
Okay.
Not that important. It's linked a bit to how we constructed this exercise.
Right.
If you wonder what is this guy here doing, this is splitting a parameter key where you have element ID, parameter ID, table index.
Yes.
It gets the table index from that key, puts it in a separate column, and later on we will rename that column even to, that's over here, I believe.
Okay.
We will rename it even to server name so that we have it nicely displayed here.
Right.
Anyhow, going back to the aggregation, that's a key step here. Aggregating allows us to get the most recent. We group by the index, which is actually the server name. So we have server name and the timestamp of the last
occurrence. Okay, so we've
so we're very close already.
Yeah, we've made that table. Yeah. Now I'm the part I'm very interested in is that little green mark. That sometimes
it's not always green.
It probably becomes a red X at some point.
It could be,
and then that's when you jump.
That's indeed. So we're we want something to interpret, to validate. Let's say
is that daytime within the last 24 hours.
I've made a custom operator for that because if we talk about little pieces of code, we go to operators typically.
Okay.
So I've created something with the fantastic name date is older than.
Date is older than. Again, it says what
self-explaining.
It has to say. Self-explaining.
So what do you have to pass along? The number of dates, of course.
Yeah.
So if we look at that in
so
Cube,
you've
for
customized
example,
the input to say you can change that. And
it will actually add a column with the validation result. It will go look at the time that is passed along. So you have a column to specify the column with your date times.
You just do a little code check where it says daytime is within that or that timing or something like that.
This is the only code you need here.
Yeah.
So that's we take the number of days that is passed along.
Start plus
we
t
change it into
smaller than and no yes.
Yes.
That's just a small condition to say
That's it. That's the key line here that does the validation. Of course, if you have specific backup strategies, you can implement it fully in here. You can go wild with that. Create whatever matches reality, I would say.
Okay.
For this, it's quite simple.
Right.
A daily backup every day.
And the data going back a bit, because apparently I'm not paying attention. Sorry. The date you start from, what was the data source in this case again? So you
that date here, that's the occurrence. That's when the pattern occurs.
Yeah, but what's where did this come from again? What's the initial data source?
The initial data source.
I kind of forgot.
No problem.
Data pattern events.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an existing data source.
That's a built-in source. So
goes through all the patterns that.
Let me quickly show you. let's create a new query and let's show you what it is. So
Okay.
related to trend patterns, we have two sources. We have the trend data patterns. Those are like the definitions of the patterns you create. Where you have the name.
The templates, the definitions, what you... Yeah, okay.
I'll show you.
I'm making him go off track. Sorry, guys, but...
So here,
I need to... No.
the kata backup is the one for this exercise.
Yes.
I'll come back to the other ones later in the session.
Yeah.
So it's good that you ask. We will reuse it.
Okay.
These are the trend data patterns.
Okay.
We also have the trend data pattern events. Those are like all the occurrences of that pattern. So for that single kata pattern that I've created, or that was created by installing the package.
Right.
We have an occurrence yesterday, the day before, and then for every server.
Now,
and that's the full list we started from.
And how I'm always also, performance is also always, I think, that thing can probably get pretty big, or is it limited, or how does that?
Yeah, that can grow big, but it can only grow big because you've configured it in a certain way, of course. But it makes sense. It would make sense definitely to apply a filter there on daytime as well to only show the ones from last month.
Point. Yeah. Okay.
Let me see.
All right. No, good. Okay.
For the most recent ones, I have not done that, but there is another overview over here.
Okay.
Where we show. Let me see that. Let's go out of edit mode.
Yeah.
And maybe clear my selection here. So,
all right.
This is also an overview of all the occurrences by server. So the gray boxes here are the servers.
Okay.
I've selected previous week here from the 19th August to the 25th. And you see, for some servers, some patterns are missing. So backup failures have happened here in this environment.
Okay.
For most of them, we have boxes everywhere we need them.
Yeah.
Like also here, net nexus server missed two occurrences.
Yeah. Okay.
You're with me again?
Yeah. I'm with you again. So
this is basically the list of occurrences.
Yeah.
We filtered them to the most recent one per server.
And you aggregated the incoming data, which is all the events that happen based on your patterns, through the key of that server table, so you know how to match up everything.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay. And then the validation we saw was a custom operator with a small conditional in there that just sets a new column, which will just say the value, which probably on or false or true or false or whatever.
Yeah, indeed.
And then I'm gonna guess you turn that into an icon.
Yeah, and I'll show you here how that is done. It's through templates. So the exploration team did a great feature here with the templates in their tables.
Yeah.
So let me show you the template I've created here. So two boxes, the text and the icon. If we look into the icon, we see that when validation is the name of the column that comes out of the operator.
The string value from the condition. Yeah.
True. So when it says yes, it shows up in green with the check mark icon. That's what we saw.
Okay.
All our backups clearly were valid. And when it says no, it goes red with an exclamation mark.
So so the template is kind of, it's a bit like an operator, but it's for a visual cue. You change the input to a visual.
Let's change it.
Change.
So let's do like, instead of the condition, let's do always no, for example.
So then you'd expect everything to become whatever your template said, I guess a red cross or
something red, eh?
Something red. Red is usually, in these cases, bad. Huh?
We have the list of failures here on top. And indeed, we have all...
Not an X, an exclamation mark.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Clearly something to jump on. We got a jump.
That you don't expect.
Pretty amazing.
All right.
Yeah. Very useful indeed, yeah.
First challenge.
Okay.
Second one. This is an example using simple patterns on one single parameter.
Yeah.
I think Willem also explained multivariate patterns.
where you
Those are
say-
more realistic, let's say, because typically something can be detected.
Multiple parameters will change from a specific event. Both the CPU might increase at the same time, like
True.
what was it? I think he showed something with like a video broadcasting that happens. So CPU goes up when the broadcast happens, or CPU goes up when a backup occurs, which then increases the usage of your hard drive or your memory. Yeah, so there are several things getting impacted.
You could get a false positive here because the CPU spiked by something else, right?
Yeah.
And that's where multivariate patterns
Makes
come in.
that more
makes
robust or
Yeah.
truthful. Yeah.
Exactly. So what changes if you look at multivariate patterns? Not that much actually, because
It's still a pattern event, probably.
it's still a pattern event. If you have a multivariate pattern, the pattern occurrence will only happen if all the conditions are being met.
match, yeah, an and
So
clause.
that means actually that nothing really changes for the exercise. You take just one of your parameters from your multivariate pattern and you go with that.
Yeah.
I'll show you a bit based on the exercise that Willem did, what special columns come into play. So if I scroll down a bit, you see here the two patterns from the session from Willem.
Yeah.
So he created something backup operation,
Yes.
like, and then video transcoding. Both have the CPU load, but like video transcoding comes with virtual memory and then also video feed, while backup has the hard disk feed
Right,
parameter
yes.
included. So what is important here, and I'll go back to here. That,
Yeah,
the
you
query.
showed me indeed from my ad hoc question, you showed me what the output was of the data source that we use here.
So if we look at the query again, and go back to get the patterns. No, not trend data.
This
of
the one
course.
under that, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. So we have the pattern name, the
Yeah.
protocol where it's been created on, and so on. But we can bring in more columns, and we need the linked pattern ID column.
Okay.
If we talk about multivariates, I'll show you. So
Okay,
that extra column.
a big GUID I'm seeing there.
Yes, yeah, it's a bit ugly.
Okay.
But you'll see what it means. So for my simple pattern, it's filled in with all zeros. There is
So there is no
basically no
link.
linked patterns.
Yeah. The other ones though.
The other ones have one, and you see that those two have the same, and those three have the same. as well.
It's like a grouping.
That's the key thing we need to group the patterns together.
Yeah.
So what I have done here, if you look a bit higher, there's a list of the multivariate patterns, and then with the parameter names.
Yeah.
Both lists start from this list. I filter out the guy over here, and then I do an aggregation again based on the linked pattern, and I group them by name again.
Yeah.
Um,
So that additional column allows you to do, things like figuring out what is actually related, what is grouped together. Yeah.
So I quickly show you the queries. So the multivariate patterns, like I said, start with the trend patterns.
data patterns. Yeah.
Filter on the linked parameter ID not equals to the full zero.
So you filter
do it.
again to begin.
Leave the single ones out, so I'm left with those here.
Yeah.
Then I aggregate. I do a count on the whatever column that is not linked pattern ID or pattern name. Doesn't matter which one it is. I kind of count the rows basically.
Yeah.
I group by linked pattern, so those come together.
Okay.
I group by pattern name, so I have the name as well in my list. And then I do a visual filter here, I believe, to only show the pattern name from that list.
Okay, right, yeah. So that way you see the pattern name of the shared or the grouped.
Yeah, exactly. The single multivariate patterns.
Yeah.
If I make a selection here, that links back to my second query.
And that's with the feed, then I'm guessing that inputs your
Exactly.
selection. And
Exactly. Then instead of aggregating on the linked pattern, I filter on the one that is selected over here.
based on the,
Right? So I only have the ones, those 2 or those 3. I only keep the parameter ID columns. And you remember, Jan, from the anomalies?
What do I
Anomaly
remember from anomaly session?
IDs to names. Does it ring a bell?
We have a nice custom operator to
We have
visualize an ID as a nice name.
exactly.
Of the
I'm
parameter.
using it again. Parameter key to name.
Right. Okay.
So I reused it here to get the parameter name.
To make it nice
And here I have the parameter names from the pattern.
Yeah.
Finally, the occurrences. Same thing as on top.
Yeah.
The trend data pattern events. Filter on pattern ID from the selection over here. Again, IDs for the elements. Translated in names through the join.
Perfect.
And the rename of a column. And that's it. So that's the special thing about multivariate. So it's not that special.
It's just that they have a linked column.
They have a linked column
ID,
that groups them together. So that's how you can play with it.
I mean, look, not gonna lie, it's a little bit of a setup.
Yeah.
But you do it once, and once it's working. And plus, I love that the setup is iterative. You make your query, you look at the table like we just did. You showed me this is what the source looks like without filters. So you do that, you look at it, you change it, you filter it, you keep going through your query, you select, you group, you change until you end up with something
with what you want there.
you want, And once that's there, that's there. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's very powerful, allows you to customize a lot. Yeah.
Okay, and then you kind of summarized what you've learned already.
Okay, you were going to ask me
I'm
again.
doing, I was going to ask you again, but I heard already a couple of things.
Yeah, I mean...
So, but again, here we have the overview.
Yes.
A dashboard, great for overviews. So that's what we do over here. We have that easy access to our patterns, right?
Yeah.
Built-in sources. Most recent kind of links to an aggregation. That's a bit key
the max
to understand.
The biggest datetime,
The icon is validation logic we put in an
custom
operator.
And then a template to make it nice.
Exactly, and the multivariate aspect you just mentioned.
Perfect,
so
amazing.
You're good, Jan.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. I hope everyone also followed along. You should take a screenshot if you did, so you get some DevOps points, as usual. So anything in particular you would suggest?
I would hope, I've showed the list here with the multivariate patterns. I'm kind of hoping that the audience here
another challenge. You go
creates the lists, but then for the other patterns. So the ones that are not multivariate. It's a small change.
Okay.
So I hope they can.
Another challenge
send me such
for everyone.
Screenshots.
Try and do what he says. Try and make
just the query. If I see the query, I'm good.
Let's try and make a nice query that will, in your words, what was it? So instead of the multivariate patterns, you go
the
with
other patterns, the patterns with a single.
The ones that you are currently filtering out by saying don't use the 0000.
Don't say too much, Jan. Oh shit! Kind of.
I just solved it for you. Oh no. Well, anyway, if you do that. You take a screenshot, you can send it in, and then we'll give you your DevOps points. Look, thank you very much again for making time. Your busy schedule, this was really amazing. And as I said, I'm probably going to use that.
Okay.
And I'll probably use the tutorial to get me going. So,
good luck.
Everyone, I hope you enjoyed this as well. If you're watching from YouTube, as usual, don't forget you can like, subscribe, ring a notification bell so you always know when we upload a new video. And other than that, yes, thank you very much for watching, and we're signing out here from HQ in Izehem. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you on the next one.